This week we sat down with Matt Vincent. Very hard to categorize him as a person. He's not just one box. He's a world traveler. He's the host of the Not Dead Yet podcast, owner of the Not Dead Yet clothing brand, and a former Highland Games World Champion. We had a lot to discuss, but we talked about mainly how to find and lead a life of purpose and fulfillment, and not to mention how to fight through adversity. We hope that you guys enjoy the episode and let us know what you think in the comments.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like food, shelter, water.
All of those are taken
things
care of.
Taken care of. Those are things I'll never have to fucking deal with in my life, most likely. And so we're still built to look at problems because those are what kept us alive for so long. But as that changes and then the problems need to become more internal to sort out and less pointing at, becomes a different shift.
Well, dude, our whole society, that's all we're doing is there's constant people trying to create problems because
Dude, there was exactly. And that's there was somebody that gave a talk in Africa, and they were telling me the story, and some African doctor was like, "Oh, that's American. Yeah, that's the most American thing I've ever heard." I'm like, "What? Like you just creating problems that don't exist just because you guys have it so good?"
Yep.
And God, man, I was listening to a talk the other day, and it was about, we're built to solve problems. Like, to your credit, Matt. And he's like, and now, when you become a 20-something-year-old and you make enough money to where you can pay for an apartment and a car and in your insurance and your cell phone, and you can now, solve your problems where you literally anything you need, you can get delivered to you within 20 minutes. Well, now you just don't have any real problems to solve anymore that are not real problems. And so now you just become a fucking whiny, complaining person. It contributes nothing to society. You're like, wow.
And we don't have a way to delay gratification.
Right.
We're really fucking bad at it. And that's going to be tough.
You try to teach that to our whole team for that.
It's going to be really tough to manage. I mean, I still struggle with it despite knowing that I know it takes 10 years to fucking get good at anything.
Right. They're, the Jake Pauls of the world, I think, make it very difficult for the younger generation to feel like, I can't be famous overnight. You're like,
famous overnight? How many videos that guy got on his channel?
That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's been pumping overnight since like
there
12.
They would all laugh at you. Yeah, they would all laugh at you and be like, yeah, right, dude, I was fucking struggling for 5-6 years.
Ain't none of that shit accidental.
Right. No way.
Where do you
Kardashians too.
They fully fucking buried it into an idea of a thing that didn't have a future.
Right.
Right? Like,
yeah,
we're seeing a really interesting thing with the social media, right? Like, I think there's, prior to my generation, us, any of this, right? Like currently people doing it, we were around for not social media, and especially those of us who had an analog childhood. Once the social media thing took fire, everyone, like anyone else, the same when the website stuff went live and that was going to be a fad and this internet thing wouldn't pan out, there was a gold rush of people in the .com boom. Well, there was a similar gold rush to people who figured out social media as a first generation people to be like, got it. This is a job. I'll treat it that way. Now going forward, that's forever a job.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, like I would say the biggest change is that if somebody young wanted to do what I do for a living, when I started, I would have said like, nah, I would recommend still the college and do the normal thing. And now I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would say for sure lean into social media and do a thing, but the idea that you can make your own living now is completely different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The rules are different and they're never going to go back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's also just going to get more competitive.
College also has become like a totally bad investment outside of like, a handful of majors.
Yeah. Like if you need, like I want my doctors to go to school.
Yeah. Doctors, like accountant, you probably need to go to school, that type of stuff. But
service-based anything,
But people weren't going to college really for the value of the education. So many people went because it's what you're supposed to do after high school.
100%.
And then we built in an idea that if you don't go, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah, you're a failure. You're not even trying.
How embarrassing it would have been for me to have not gone to college and just been like, I don't want to do that. It sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be a fucking loser.
And it's still that way, to be honest.
I don't know.
Yeah, a lot more people, but I mean, like we manage a lot of 18 to 24-year-olds on our team, and there's a lot of guys that are looking to stick it to somebody by their success with our company, based on the fact that they didn't go the traditional route.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that have a chip on their shoulder, and it's like they have that chip because of what they've been told.
Yeah, same, right? Like, I mean, fuck, man, I went through it. I went to college, got a job, and my degree from LSU it's a general studies degree, so it's not great.
It wasn't leisure studies.
It's basically the same. After track, I feel like I'd gone long enough that they were like, best of luck.
That's fun.
How did that transition into the Highland Games? For anybody that's not, familiar with Matt, Matt was a world champion at the Highland Games. How many years?
Twice, in 2012 and 2014. I was a world champion, and then I finished second a bunch of times.
Jeez. Who was the guy that beat you?
Dan McKim. He's
Same
from
guy?
here.
No way, really?
Yeah, somewhere around here.
Yeah, KC area.
Yeah,
That's
we
great.
are as opposite as possible.
Really? He's like farm boy or something?
Not necessarily farm boy. Dan is 5 kids and a Baptist preacher.
Oh, right.
okay.
And also teaches Sunday school. I don't know if preacher is the right word. He works
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Sornex. They're great.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Dan was a fucking tough guy to beat, man. I got really lucky twice at World Championships to beat him.
That's awesome.
For anybody who's listening that might not know what the Highland Games is, give people a brief rundown of like what the Highland Games is as far as the specifics of what events there are.
Sure. So there's 9 events, and it's all strength sport related, right? So it kind of predates the Olympics, and so it's all throwing stuff. We have 2 stones we throw like a shot put. We have 2 weights we throw for distance, and we have 2 hammers we throw for distance. We have a 56-pound weight we throw up over a bar for height. We have the caber, which is kind of the one most people know about. Looks like a telephone pole.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's an event called the sheaf, which is like a 20-pound bag you throw for height with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
So all of it came from when England had decided the Scottish couldn't have weapons. And so they found a new way to train and test clans and find a way to keep fit or doing whatever.
Yeah.
People compete.
Yeah.
They always have.
You were able to do this. So question with the Highland Games, how did you transition into it were you doing the Highland Games while you were also a thrower at LSU?
No. So I was a thrower at LSU. That finished up in 2005. I went into entrepreneurship, opened a bicycle shop, and that did not go great.
Mm-hmm. First lesson, if you will.
First lesson, if you will, opening a brick and mortar. Got out of there with some
We
debt.
know the struggles there.
Yeah, got out of that with some debt in 2008 or 2009.
Did you finish out your lease?
I left, and my other partner continued to run
on.
it. Yeah, it was not going to serve 2 of us well. And I needed out. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. I had no fucking clue what I was doing, and I wasn't helping. So after that, I kind of got back into lifting a little bit. My brother had gotten into strongman, and so I started getting back in it behind him. Found a guy in Baton Rouge where I was that was training it, and went and trained a couple times. Liked it. Did some strongman shows, got into some powerlifting. Trained in Louisiana with a guy, Gary Frank. So I did geared powerlifting and raw powerlifting for a little bit. I did a couple weightlifting meets, and then did a Highland Games in November of 2008. Like I knew it existed, right, from being a thrower. Mm-hmm. But then at that point, like, where do you find one? And one was in Louisiana, like an hour from us. And so we went. I did the novice class, had a good time. You already know how to throw because of the college thing, so it's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
Going into the sport. And so I did well, made some connections, figured out when I could find another competition. Mm-hmm. And there were some in Dallas, and so we made friends and traveled a lot and competed a bunch.
That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, and then 2 years later, I won an amateur world championship in 2010. And then 2011, I won an amateur world championship, which got me an invite to the professional worlds. And I took second at that, and then won the following year.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think that's when I started reading your shit on Juggernaut training systems.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were a Juggernaut athlete. Yeah, look at you with the fucking telephone pole. I'm going to throw this.
what is that? Sheath? Is that what you said it's called? Sorry.
That's the caber.
Caper.
Yep, so that's the caber.
And this is back in the era where you were like 280.
Yeah, I was healthy. Old Jake and Dan creeping around the back there.
That's funny as hell.
Work, boys.
280 plus
pounds.
What was your top weight?
318.
Jeez, dude.
Getting ready for a strongman show.
That's just wild. And are those actually typically weighed in events? You don't have weight classes in there, do you?
No. So Highland Games has like a lightweight, which is sub 200. So it really wasn't in the cards. I didn't have to worry about making that cut. And so the professional group, there's only, it's open. They don't
Yeah.
care how much you weigh. It's how far you throw.
That's awesome.
And it's such a fun sport, right? Like there's some amount of ass you need to have to throw far, just to be a counterbalance. But it doesn't benefit max strength the way powerlifting does or strongman. And strongman, man, I think that last contest I did had like a 360 per hand farmers. And weighing 320 pounds helps.
Yeah.
to say the least.
Not being 250, you know, and at that time I'm far from 250, but.
How did you, so being that the Highland Games is somewhat of an obscure sport in the world of strength sports, strength sports in general. Is kind
niche of a niche.
Yeah. How what do you attribute your, rise to, prominence or being known throughout the strength world during that time? Because dude, at that time you were the only guy I knew that
I'm still the only guy most people know from the
Highland Games. From throwing or from anything like that. And like I said, I got introduced to you through Juggernaut Training Systems. You were writing articles for them. Is that primarily how you think that all happened, or were you putting out other content?
Prior to writing for Juggernaut, I don't know what year that would have started.
It's probably like 2010 or 11, I'd say.
Something, right?
Maybe
I had started. So when I started traveling to compete, I had an outside sales job working in the oil and gas industry. And so I would plan sales trips around places I could compete.
Yeah.
And that way I'd drive up, have a couple meetings, and Saturday I would compete, and then I'd drive home.
And your work's paying for this trip now.
Right.
Travel-wise.
Scam as much as I can run.
Right. Hey, man, it fitted your life. And I'm sure you still sold a lot of gas.
Yeah. And so like, if I had meetings around like Toledo, Ohio, and Lima, Ohio, and a couple different places, I'd stay in Columbus. Or not really Columbus, but London.
Yeah.
That's where Elite FTS was, and that's where Windler was. And so I would stay there to have a place to train every day. And so I started making friends. I went and hung out with Dave and hung out with Jim and got to know him, and Jim became a good friend and really a mentor at the time. And so I started writing as he had done 531.
I was about to say, he's put out the most popular strength program that's
There's
ever
no reason
existed.
to write a beginner strength training manual.
Yeah.
It's done. It's 531. Just use that. And I followed a lot of it. And so Jim, I remember very specifically being in his house, and he's like, you going to write a book for the Highland Games? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, because if you don't, I'm gonna. I was like, well, I will. And then I did. So that was very much like, well, how do you write a book? And so figured it out, wrote a book, self-published it. One of the things I talked about in the book was the hate, and I continued to write. I kept a blog at that point, I think mattvincent.net, and I was writing quite a bit, articles on training, stuff that I was interested in, whatever else.
What gave you purpose back then, Matt? Because you had been an athlete, to this point a lot of your life, and now you're in the big world, if you will. You're having to make a living. You're having to work, not doing what you love every day for work, right? So what are we doing in the sense of where are you deriving this from? Like as far as your passion for it, you know what I mean? No one's forcing you to write any of these blogs. You're not getting paid for any of these blogs. You're wanting to share this stuff with the world. Where's that coming from, you think?
I like making, man. It feels good to create. As a creative guy that, has whatever background in art, I tattooed for a little while, did a lot of different jobs. And, as ADHD as I am and as much of a lunatic, like singular focus isn't it. And so having the job thing that I could focus on, then I needed another thing to occupy a lot of the rest of my day. Otherwise, I'll get wildly self-destructive just like anyone else, just out of boredom. And so picking another thing that required a pretty intense amount of time and focus was great. Also, I got really good at it. And so that helped keep an interest. And then the writing side of it was such a challenge. And then as you start to see a couple people pick up here and there, and I sold a couple books. Once I started selling books, the idea of that really was that I knew the Highland Games was going to end, as it does for everyone. And it was paying a little bit, right? Like I'm making probably an extra like 25 or 30 grand a year at the years I'm winning and doing my best. I was like, so whenever I quit, it would be cool if there was still some cash coming in to kind of soften the blow of losing that income.
Yeah.
And that was the original plan. And then as I kind of just continued creating content around it, it continued to grow.
Continue to be a figurehead in the sport.
And it gave me an excuse to get in front of people. That gave me the excuse to go, get to know Chad at Juggernaut, like introduce him to the guys at Elite. And then when Chad started Juggernaut, he hit me up to come on board and write and contribute. I was one of their first guys when they started the company. It was great. I think it was like me, Brandon Lilly, Dan Green, a handful of dudes. And
Strength Sports was fucking in one of those cool. It was just a cool.
Golden
I don't know. Maybe
era.
it's because I was like
Golden
competing
era.
down powerlifting. I was like, this is fucking. It was just cool to see a lot of people doing a lot of stuff that was interesting in the strength world. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, dude, as far as like throwing goes, I had no clue, anything about throwing, but I was reading your articles like I fucking did.
man, I appreciate it.
I was like, yeah, well, maybe, I get into shot put. I don't know.
And as it changes, right? Like, we talked about it a little bit before this, that, where people really, really crush it, right? Is like they find that message and it really never changes and they just keep hammering it forever. That beginner thing. I'm not that interested there.
Yeah.
Like I'm able to focus on things I'm actually interested in, which is the only shit I'll be able to focus on. If I'm not interested, I will not do it well. And so I'm done at this point in my life pretending that I can care about a thing I don't.
Yeah.
That's simply knowing me. The only things I've ever been successful of doing, I'm completely obsessed with. And so if I'm obsessed with it, let's go. I'll just run with it as much as I can.
Well, that's a great segue, man, because your obsession has changed over the years. I can't wait to get into more of like just how you've reinvented yourself as a person over and over again. But when it comes to clothing, right, it's been a major part of your life for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
right?
we started in 2014 with Hate.
Right. So how did that transition happen? Because you've now come off of, I believe you won in 2012, and was it 2014 was the last year you won Highland Games?
2014 was the last year I won a world championship. 2015, I took second. In 2016, I took second. And then at the end of 2016, I went in for an ACL surgery, and it didn't work out great.
What happened in the ACL surgery?
Bro.
What?
Yeah, it followed up.
Wasn't Dr. James Andrews?
No, it wasn't.
Weird enough.
I went and met with him.
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't go well. I don't believe it was surgeon's fault. Whatever that means, right? Like it doesn't seem my body does really well with cadaver tissue. And so I had an ACL surgery in January, and then by April we went in to do a checkup and it was gone. Like, I don't have anything to tell you that happened to it. And so 10 days later we have another ACL surgery, and then 3 months later it's gone. So we try again. So I had 5 ACL surgeries in 18 months, and you just chip away at it, right? Like it's the bottom of your femur. You keep trying to attach bolts and not bolts, but screws and stuff to it. You're just chewing into the end of that 2x4. Like there's just nothing left by the end of it. And so tried some other things to kind of get out of the pain that the ACL surgeries had left me in. I knew after the 3rd or 4th one that getting back to competing wasn't the goal anymore.
Right.
The goal now needed to shift back to, I can't go up and down stairs.
Yeah.
I can't walk more than 200 meters a day and figure that the fuck out. Cause I know if I don't solve that problem, I'm in real trouble. Especially with like as dark as that's gotten. And as long as I have depended on this thing to operate, man, I don't fucking ride out the rest of my life traveling with a cane at 200 fucking yards a day. I don't do it. I know that. And so all the attention's got to go to get out of pain and sort me out. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, nothing else is important. We won't survive it.
And with you're talking about your focus, how do you focus on anything else when you're trying to rehab like that? You got to make a living. Are you still working at this oil and gas place?
Yeah, I did that until 2017. They eventually fired me.
Okay. Was it performance related?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think my last year working there, I probably took 10 weeks vacation.
Yeah.
They also supported me traveling and competing.
Sure.
I don't know that they fully supported me spending 3 weeks at a time in Scotland to compete.
Yeah.
But after doing outside sales that long, right, like all of my relationships are built. I'm not cold calling people at that point. So I can schedule meetings and shit from the road. Mm-hmm. I also don't really need to be there in person to go see those people all the time.
Sure.
I had a feeling within 2 years before that eventually they would phase me out. As when they hired me, the idea was that they were going to build an office over where I was and have people for me to manage and to sell basically, because we're selling a service. And it never happened. And so then I'm not really competitive with any bids I go in on because I have to bring people in from another state, pay per diem, do all these other type of things. And so that I just knew that the writing was on the wall coming down at some point.
Yeah.
But during this part, I mean, like you're rehabbing and 18 months, 5 different ACL surgeries, obviously extremely difficult to like focus or perform well at anything else when you have this giant focus, in the middle of, your day every day. That has to have been like mentally just one of the hardest things.
Yeah, what was the like darkest point in that? Because I remember like
rehab's got to just be this
watching on social media,
scary.
and there was points where you couldn't, bend your leg for extended periods of time. You definitely couldn't squat. You couldn't, basically everything that you love doing, you couldn't do.
I mean, you were told like you wouldn't walk again or something like that. Right? Like
I don't think
those
told I wouldn't walk again. That was never really it.
Like you wouldn't be able to like compete.
But I mean, if you can't do something active,
something about when you did you did that bike ride. That was what 243 mile bike ride, and I was saying that like somewhere in one of those, as I was just following your content, you had mentioned something where it was like I was told I would never be able to ride a bike. Maybe what was it? That what it was?
There was a lot of just I thought they were gone. I mean, I can't go up and down stairs. I'm traveling with a cane. Like I was saying no to, like it was really strange to have stuff pop up, right? Like, hey, we're going to be going to blah blah blah, and I would have to be like, well, how much walking's involved? To go to a concert.
Yeah.
Do we have places to sit? Because if we don't have places to sit, like I'm not going. I can't do it. I'll be fucking miserable. And then who wants to hang out with that guy?
That's brutal.
It was a lot. And like, so the only thing I could really put the focus on, right, was progress. Maintain the job the best way I can because what's the other current option? And then the rehab thing, well, what's the current option? Can I move the needle today? What can I do to feel better? What can I do to help get out of pain? What can I do to manage all that? And so my focus shifted to get out of pain. And so anything I'm willing to try. That put me down to do 9 months of carnivore diet. It put me into doing a long time with keto because if it reduces inflammation, let's try. Because if it can move the needle at all on the pain thing, I've got to give it a go. Otherwise, are we really trying to do it? Are we really trying everything?
Right.
That's what got me into doing cold exposure. That's what got me into doing breath work. That's what got me into doing a lot of different stuff. And being open enough to be like, well, I haven't tried it yet. Fuck it. Let's give it a go. And if I found any useful of it, I continue. And a lot of that stuff has stuck with me.
Was there a diet on there that you felt like it was really helpful on the inflammation side?
That wasn't?
That was. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. The keto and carnivore are great.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still great. I still run that way most of the time. I figured out through like glucose testing for a long time that my body doesn't seem to have a negative reaction to white rice, but it has more of one to potatoes. So
sure,
avoid one, not the other. And we're talking about such tiny percentages, right? So I can't chase carnivore to eliminate inflammation if I'm still going to drink. That's fucking robbing Peter to pay Paul,
right?
And so that's got to go. Start eliminating things. Figure out how do we feel our best? What can we do to manage this? Like what helps? Does running an E-stem work? What gets rid of inflammation? I know I've got stuff for pain, but that shit ain't long term. I can't eat opiates for the rest of my life. I know where that goes.
Right.
So that option's off the table long term. Just figure out anything I can get to work. And then on the backside of once you start coming out of that, then who the fuck are you? And I had a lot of questions about that, about just personal identity and what I was. I knew at some point like the Highland Games would be over, but I never expected not to be athletic.
Sure. That's what I mean. Like it must have just been like the darkest time because like who you'd been to that point, you've always been an athlete. And that's where I was like, there's got to be a time where you had to transition and, you never really trained for aesthetics. It seemed like to this point as well.
Never, and still never.
Right. And so it's like you've never truly been like, oh, I'm looking to get bigger biceps or I'm looking, it's always been to perform more. And so like now it's like I'm going from performing more to like just to freaking walk up some stairs. I can only imagine, like I said, your whole identity must have been.
It's a lot. It shook a lot. So my brain's never hurt, right? My brain throws really well. It knows how to do all that. I can teach it. I can show it. I know how to throw. I can't make this thing do it anymore. And that was a really weird disconnect for the first time in my life. And then at that, that cast a shadow. And then looking back at my history, right, of like what built me. So where did my identity come from? And like, holy fuck, man. The luck of the draw that I got, my soul or whatever we want to call it, got dropped into this machine is the fucking greatest lottery I've won. And not having that, who are you? Right? Not having all that athletic thing that built my confidence and built how to work hard and how to show up every day and be consistent, and it's gone. And so, okay, where do any of those rules now get to apply to the rest of my life? And that's where I've leaned into since, is taking that same drive and focus and put it on the things I want instead of just what finds me.
Did that lay the foundation, you think, for, you know, your men's group like 1612 or the retreats that you've been doing? Is that you going through that situation been kind of like your starting point of being introspective and looking inwards and being able to teach others how to do the same?
That was the idea, right? Is that just sharing as much of what I found in the dark there with other people? Because, man, if I'm going through it and I'm struggling with a thing and I've got incredible resources at this point, right? Like of lucky enough during that time, like I've made great friends. I've got, you know, Kelly Starrett is a great friend of mine and mentor that helped me through knee surgeries and rehab, and getting to know him and talk to him and learn from him. At that point, I'd also become friends with Kyle Kingsbury, who was a director of performance at On It for a while, and got close with him and Aubrey and have made friends there. So I got to learn from those guys and see them live a wildly different fucking life than I had ever been exposed to. And that pulled a big curtain back on me of like, perhaps nothing I really think is true of how you should live or what should bring happiness or what all of the expected ideas of life and success look like. They actually have to be defined by me. And if I define them, then I can pursue them. But if I don't know what happiness and success look like, where are we going? We don't have a direction. And so helping people find that and eliminate a bunch of the attachments to who they were, what they were, the experiences they had, allows them to start making new decisions going forward. And I wanted to share as much of that as I could with people, and still do. That's what the retreats are about. That's what 1612 or Not Dead Yet Life is really about, is helping people build awareness. I think awareness is the biggest one.
Did you have, when you were going through that, did you have a lot of people that were expecting certain things of you? Like family, friends, they were like, they have, you know, a lot of times when people are trying to break free of a certain mold that they're in, they have external pressure from people, from a group that basically makes them think, you know, maybe second guess, you know, what they're going through. Did you have that? Or what's your support group like that you grew up with, or, you know, your family like? And
family's awesome. Parents are super supportive. I mean, they supported the first round of diving into entrepreneurship instead of pursuing a regular job after college or any of this. Not immediately, but once they kind of realized that's the direction I was going, they helped. And then the group of friends I had at the time in Baton Rouge, like my close friends, they were all guys that I had tour managed for a band and was partying with and met in bar scenes and all this. And kind of once I got into the Highland Games, like that shift already changed, right? That like no one I fucking know understands wwhy I give a shit about this.
yeah,
And so no one...
you'd already shed that.
Yeah, and I think I got a bunch of that already from track. Because this was a thing that was important enough that it paid for school, but no one cares.
Right.
No one gives a shit, especially
All your
on
friends
a
are just
track
saying
team
it.
at LSU.
Right.
I'm aware that even in that world of people who care about track, no one gives a fuck about the throws.
Yeah.
Right.
So they sure as shit don't care about the Highland Games.
Yeah.
So it only has to matter to me.
Yeah.
But it has to matter to me. If it doesn't matter to me, then what the fuck are we doing?
Right. If you weren't doing it just for the free school,
Right.
otherwise you wouldn't have, you would have just phoned it in.
And that way, throwing's kind of a representation of your entire life. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been doing things that are for you for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the external gratification or someone approving of what I do.
Yeah.
You'll work through that really early.
Yeah, it seems like a really fruitless pursuit. And then the older I've gotten and the more, you know, hindsight and perspective I get on it, the way less I'm concerned with what people think.
Other people think.
Because, yeah, I don't take criticism from people I wouldn't ask for advice. And very few people are living a life that I want to live. And so I try to surround myself with the people that I know that are. And even when it comes down to that, like there's people I know living parts of lives I want to live. And so I have to piecemeal that together.
Take bits and pieces from different people.
You know, I love this killer group of friends that I've got with Keaton Hoskins, the muscle, and Rob Bailey, and you know, these other guys in my life. But also I love the mindset and community and love that Aubrey and the guys around On It operated with. And so I find myself falling far more in the middle.
Yeah.
Between those two things. Not full kook, but also not full fuck this money, make money.
Yeah.
Tell me, like you mentioned that kind of pivotal moment in your life when you were brought around the On It guys, when you first were brought around them and just their philosophies and having to like rethink. Is there any kind of a core memory that comes to mind where, you know, it's like a tangible example of like, this is what I was thinking and this is what I was introduced to. And I was just like, oh.
Yep. And a simple eye-opening thing. I think at that point, I'm not doing great in my marriage as well. I'm struggling across the board, right? I don't know who the fuck I am. I don't know what the fuck my future looks like. I know that what I'm looking at is the most exciting things in my life are possibly behind me. And believing that is a different thing, right?
100%. Yeah, you're choosing to think that, yeah.
That like, holy shit, man, my time of traveling, competing, and getting to do this exciting life is fucking done. We are going to be going 2 weeks vacation every year to the same probably spot. I just see that playing out, and I know it's not for me. And so struggling kind of with relationship or any of that and being exposed to Aubrey. And at that time, Aub is living, I think, a poly life and doing open relationships and things like that. And so the very specific
things he's been very open about, obviously.
Oh, yeah. And so being around that, man, it's so easy to have it and just be like, it's kooky and bullshit. Like they can't really operate like that. Like I know it sounds good on a podcast, right? But I was lucky enough to be in.
Right.
And that changed it. The very specific time was I happened to run into Aub in California, and we're hanging out, and one of the girls around is this girl, Caitlin. And then through conversation, I realized I know Caitlin. She's conversed with me through On It before. She works for On It. And then the more we're talking, I realized that like Caitlin and Aubrey had formerly been engaged and were together a long time. And Caitlin is still best friends with Aubrey and Aubrey's current fiance. And Aubrey's traveling and staying at an Airbnb with his former fiance, Caitlin, who's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And there isn't any bullshit surrounding it. There's not jealousy.
Yeah.
It's love. It is simply more love. That one, like seeing that operate in person shook me. I was like, that is fucking way more understanding than anything I've ever thought was possible post ending a major relationship. And so really that was like, all right, I'm open to listen. And the more I was around, I remember Aub saying something very specifically. And it was, you know, just, I would love for you to explain to me how more intimate, loving relationships in my life would be a negative. I was like, fuck, I don't have an answer for that. You know, especially if we're not dealing with jealousy and we're not dealing with a scarcity mindset. And the fact that love isn't a scarce commodity. Neither is intimacy of friendships, right? And like we can define intimacy along a lot of ways. And whether that's sex and the physical intimacy or that is going to be, you know, intimate with your friends. Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys share a ton of time together. You fucking love each other. This is family, right? I want more of that. Like, I know how it feels when I'm around, you know, the 3 or 4 people that you fucking love. Mm-hmm. And so what if I really felt that strong of a connection like I do with Bonnie to the other 10 people that I surround myself with? And seeing that and seeing this real tribe and community and like leaning in, I was like, oh, this is different. There's not bickering. There's not bullshit. And I just saw this whole different paradigm open up of a different way to operate with people.
That's wild, man. I mean, I can only imagine. And like you're saying, like it's people think they understand these things by talking about them or they understand the concepts of it, but to see it before your eyes, obviously, and watching it operate. and you're like, oh, like this is absolutely doable for people.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems so like you saying that. And obviously I've listened to Aubrey's podcast and listened to him talk about Sex Before Dark. Is that the book?
Sex Before Dawn.
Yeah. Dawn.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is the book that basically opened his mind to thinking about relationships differently. It's so abstract for me. I'm married, you know, and I think about like, there's part of my brain that pushes back on that and says, you know, kind of like training, you know, when you do something repetitively over time and you're consistent with it and you are dedicated to it, it's hard sometimes, but there's payoff for it in the end. That's what a monogamous relationship feels like to me. And that's basically the way my brain thinks about it. And I'm not saying that's right. It's just like when I hear things like that, that's like that's automatically
You're saying
what my
it bears
brain-
different fruit. It sounds like to me.
Yeah.
You know what you're saying? It's like this fruit can only be bared if you are monogamous, if you are 100%
For
in,
sure.
through the struggles, through everything.
For sure.
And something I agreed with as well.
Yeah.
And it's not, I've never lived an open relationship lifestyle. The shift for me was that was something I believed is very true
Yeah.
and was not.
Yeah.
And so what that did was eliminate anything from that point on that I was like, right and wrong are an interesting concept.
1000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
All relative.
even that side of like, yeah, I felt this was right.
Yeah.
Is that a rule that you feel you put in, or was that something that came pre-installed based on the time you were born, the society you were born in? So the longitude and latitude of where you fucking showed up
Yeah.
and when your parents decided to fuck.
Yeah.
Is that more of an influence on how you look at relationships, or did you try?
Yeah. I mean,
Because what other experience do you have with relationships to say they don't work? Or have you only done monogamy?
it's true. I've only done monogamy.
Right.
So there.
If you were under 18 years old, I might want to
All right.
backtrack that.
We all know that doesn't count.
Yeah. That ain't the same, right?
That doesn't
Yeah,
count.
that ain't the same.
It's not like I was like, oh, I'm going to be in this polyamorous relationship when I'm 16.
No,
Yeah.
right.
But what I'm saying is, you know, like it's interesting. It's interesting to have your preconceived notions and your closely held beliefs challenged.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I'm
like it.
saying? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some people, I mean, I'd say most of Americans don't like that.
Of course they don't. People fucking
reject it.
hate being wrong.
Yeah, they reject it.
In general, people hate being wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, our politics have figured out how much we want to be part of a team
Yeah.
and have laid into it.
Yeah.
The same reason men still show up to go watch professional football games and don't have a real connection to a team, right? High school sports is basically the last time most men were part of a thing.
Right.
And then what you see is a further run of that with guys that go into the military. You have a tighter knit group that is a family that everyone is dependent on each other. You have a tight knit group. And when they come out of that, fuck.
Things go fucking
Society just
sideways.
drop kicks them.
Yeah. Why is everyone I'm around interested in shit that doesn't matter?
You lose your tribe.
Gets really tough. It gets really tough. And so people lock in on a bigger tribe.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, like, yeah, and a lot of self-destructive behaviors.
Dude, I think there's so much value to maintaining the small tribe and not only doing that, but like doing hard shit together. Like that's fucking it, dude.
I mean, our entire culture, of
our
company
entire
now is built
culture
on
is
this.
literally like, we're going to fucking have a tight knit group of people. We're going to go fucking do workouts that suck. We're going to do it together. You know, we're going to do things in a retail environment that's harder than fucking most people would ever expect, you know, a retail job to be. And through that, you know, we have the tightest group, you know, of people as far as like a company goes, you know, that's been a huge deal for us. Huge deal.
Yeah. That shared piece is a big chunk of it. You know, I know with, my group, once a year, we did a big hike last year. We went and did the Berryman Trail in St. Louis. It's 27 miles, and we're going to hit it in a day. That's a 12-hour hike. Most people haven't ever done a 12-hour hard
with
thing.
a rucksack, I'm sure, of some sort.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just walk it, man. 12 hours is a long time to walk on a trail and finish the thing. You know, everyone's in it with you. There is a point during that, like, where you're not comfortable, where you don't want to do this anymore. And sharing that with people and realizing, like, oh, that voice that says we should quit isn't a real voice. It's a fucking lie. And it wants you to punch out early. And we're so built to think comfort equals success, and that successful people don't have to sweat, and successful people don't work hard, and successful people don't have all that. Yet it's really critical.
Yeah.
The hard part of that is deciding now that I don't have to do hard things, right? Because my needs are taken care of. Like I don't have to go hunt food tonight. I don't have to build a fire or chop wood today to make sure my house is warm. I've got to pick the challenges. I get to, right? Like I get to pick the challenges. The first time in human history that humans are able to decide the stress they want to adapt to. And that's really, really new, but you have to choose stress.
You got to have it.
We're seeing
gotta
honestly all
fucking
the,
have it.
yeah, dude, we're seeing all the ripple effects of this, you know, to your point. It's like the first time in human history where, especially in American history, where it's like, we don't have a lot of history, right?
Well, we don't have a ton of culture to begin with.
Right.
We don't have any rites of passage for people to become adults. We don't have any hard built thing like that. We don't, it's just not a ton there.
Uh-huh.
So I'm saying like, there's not a lot of struggle built into our society anymore. And we got this AI thing coming.
It's high school sports.
Yeah, that was the last breath. And let's be real. What population do you think are in high school sports at this point?
Less,
right?
20%, maybe.
20, yeah, I mean, like I graduated with 2000, right? Went to school, high school around St. Charles, St. Louis area. Okay. Graduated the class like 400 plus, right?
Yeah, about same size school I went to.
And I would say that, you know, of my like close knit group of friends that I grew up with, I was the only one that played a sport for 4 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I had a really good friends that were like my football team friends, right? Were my rugby team friends, but they were not like my core group from middle school. If that makes sense, right? And so like that group, you know, one kid played basketball for 1 year. The rest of them didn't play any sport. And like, you know, one was a part of like photography. Like that was it, you know? And it's like, there was not a lot of struggle built in. And so it's just, I resonated really well with this company when I was 19 years old, was because they chose to do things hard. And I loved it. You know, I felt so much purpose behind it. There's not a lot there. You know, I just don't see.
So you got to go find new people.
Right.
Like that's the way it's supposed to work, right? Like change and adaptation and finding new groups of people and closing out a chapter to start the next is the way it goes, man. If I look at my life as a book, right? And like every 8-10 years or whatever it is a chapter of it. Fuck having a book that's the best in chapter 3. Fuck that thing. Right? Like, so then what? I spend the next 60 years of my life talking about the coolest thing happened in my 30s? Fuck all that. That's a choice. Like, choosing to quit stuff that no longer serves you and find your next thing is a thing very few people do.
Right.
Especially once you've
a lot of discomfort.
Followed the plan.
A lot of discomfort there.
Well, yeah. And a lot of following the plan of what expectations are put on me by the people around me in society. Whether that's I go to school, I get a degree, I get a job, I get married, we start having kids, we have a house. We did it. And then a lot of people find themselves there and go, oh, so that's it.
That's empty sometimes for some.
That's a lot. And then you're just riding it out. And so few people are willing to go, oh, this wasn't it. I'm going to hit the reset button.
Urgency, dude. Have you seen you probably have. Have you seen the movie Fight Club?
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's one of my favorite books. And there's a part in it.
Incredible, yeah.
When he pulls that gas station attendant out of the gas station and he puts a gun to his head. And he said, motherfucker, you know, what did you want to be? Why the fuck are you a gas station attendant? And the guy's like, he's crying. He's like, I wanted to be a veterinarian. He's like, why the fuck aren't you a veterinarian? He's like, too much school. He said, if you aren't fucking a veterinarian, if you aren't on your way to being a veterinarian in 6 months, I'm coming to your house and I'm fucking killing you. I'm keeping your ID. And that was like the most profound thing, because it's like most people don't have anybody to pull them aside in life and put a gun to their head. And they don't put the gun to their own head, you know? And so they never have urgency like you're talking about to like attack life. And so they float through life. They don't know what the fuck, you know, they hit 40 and they're like, holy shit, I'm working at this fucking random, you know, bullshit ass job. And I'm not happy. And I don't even know how to make myself happy at this point, you know, because I just,
and to be clear, like they think that's normal because of who they're surrounded with as well, are all going through the same thing.
Well, we have acted as though that's normal, right? That is a built-in part of the plan.
Yeah.
And especially which means you should just be dedicating everything to making your kids better. Like once you're an adult, it's let go of any of that and
live through your kids.
Live through your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Help produce the next generation of whatever that means.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I have 3 kids and it's super important. Me and my wife always talk about not our lives first. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta serve yourself first.
Serve yourself first. You know, we can't get caught up in the What's fucking easy? The reason people do that when they have kids is because it's so fucking easy to just be like, all right, I'm just going to put them in a fucking awesome soccer league and they're going to be good and it's going to make me feel good, you know, instead of being like,
oh, they're going to live
you
through their kids. I mean, like, and it doesn't happen. Like, it's not so obvious. It's not like they're saying any of this, right? It's attaching your entire life to, okay, you know, I'm going to put them in this competitive soccer league. Now I'm going to travel. Every weekend's just going to be traveling, supporting them. And then you're going to have this emptiness for yourself.
Yo, that's life on autopilot. A lot of people do that.
Well, I got a really hard question. This is one we had like a week ago. I'd love to hear your guys' take, specifically Kyle on this one. Your wife and your daughter are drowning at the same time. You can save one. What do you do?
Don't do that to me.
Think about it. Think about it though. If you don't have to, you can do this hypothetically. This is obviously hypothetical.
I would save my daughter. Because if I saved my wife, our relationship would be over. She'd like never forgive me for that.
You know, I asked this question to Hannah, my girlfriend, who's got a 3-year-old, and she was like, you know, Jeff, if we were married and we made that commitment to each other, I would probably save you. And I was like, what? And I'm like, I get it because I know her. And she's like, because a relationship is the foundation of what brought these kids into the world. And so if I'm going to bring these kids into the world, I have to have that foundation for me to feel good about the kids part. And I was like, man.
As someone without kids and never going to have any, that Sophie's Choice is a tough one for me to
actually have a real opinion on it.
Yeah, I think.
And I couldn't say it either. I was like, I get where you're coming from, but she's like, yeah, I mean, like, you recognize that like our family structure is going to come from this relationship. You know, I feel like I have to have that piece. Like, you know, these kids are going to grow up someday.
Made them, I can make more.
yeah, that's actually what she said.
I would get back to work.
She actually cracked a Bud Light and said that.
Right.
No. But that's it's a crazy concept to think through.
Dude, getting back to the autopilot, you know, where I think that a lot of people are in America, where they basically just put their life on autopilot. Is traveling like what is it for you that keeps you out of that? You know, is it traveling? You know, is it business? Because business, I mean, for me, business is so different a lot of times, and the situations of business help with that as well. But I didn't know what your specific thoughts on
the autopilot thing, and the sense of urgency, like those go together for me.
Mm-hmm.
I carry now with me like you keep anything in your pocket, like something to check in on or any of that. So I carry a marble.
The Inception thing. What's that called? An Inception.
It's a totem.
Thank
you. It's something as a reminder, whether that's prayer beads or anything else, right?
Yeah.
Like all it has to do is be important to me to trigger me back to gratitude or a sense of whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so the marble for me is mine.
Keeps you grounded.
Yeah, and the story behind that is my father passed away in 2014 of pancreatic cancer. It's like an 11-month fight. Went from, hey, I think we have something wrong, to fucking dead in 11 months.
Wow.
And watching him fade out and get beat by it. He passed away the day before my birthday. So he died at 62. I turned 31 the next day, and looking at that really blatantly as halfway. Like, if my life is actually halfway over, what is that? 1,612 weeks. I've got a big jar with 1,612 of these in it is what it started at, and now it's 1,144.
Wow, man.
And so the way I look at it, right, with the marble is, if this is a week of my life and this is this week, I can either spend this week out of obligation, trying to make other people happy, doing things that are right, and spend it all that way. Or I can spend it on the things I love, around people I give a shit about, doing things that enrich my life. And either way, it goes in the fucking trash.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a risk to living it the other way. Like, I'm fucking dead.
Yeah.
At the end of it. And damn sure turning these in at the end with like, well, I was a martyr for these.
Yeah.
Right? That like I was doing for the greater good of what my parents wanted, or what this expectation was, or what this equaled. Doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. And so why wouldn't I be on the gas to make the most of my life? And so that getting stuck in routine, like I found that when I was hurt, you know, that I would lay there post surgery. I remember after one of the surgeries, I had a high tibial osteotomy after doing this oats procedure. And so like the rehab for both of those is like 8 weeks without ever putting your foot down.
breaks.
And so you're on the couch, right? Like, how do you fucking get around the house with crutches and feed yourself? How do you do anything? I need hands. I don't have anything important to tell you that happened in like those 16 weeks of life. I laid on the fucking couch, ate pills, I rehabbed in my garage, and I played video games. Whereas other times I've traveled, whether that's being in Scotland for 2 weeks or being in Iceland for 10 days or going to Africa last year, I can tell you so much that happens there because I'm on. Like, I'm not on autopilot. I'm being exposed to a fucking whole new realm of world.
Yeah.
Right? And so if my memory of that situation versus the other 16 weeks, if that memory is bigger, then I'm slowing down time.
Yeah.
I'm slowing down my perception of time because when I'm really present, time passes slowly. Proof of that, sit in the fucking cold tub.
Very true.
3 minutes in the cold tub is a lot fucking harder than 2 hours in front of the TV.
Yeah.
2 hours in front of the TV, you'll disappear and you're like, Jesus Christ, it's already 2 hours later. That doesn't happen in the cold.
Yeah.
And so having those moments every day to check in and be really present, I think, are really important.
Is that primarily, are you using the cold tub, primarily for that, or are you using it for the inflammation? Are you both?
All. Yeah, it does all of them at the same time.
Which one?
It's multi-beneficial?
You guys partner with Cold Plunge?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've worked with them for a couple of years.
And then you got the ice barrel as well. Which one do you prefer?
Cold Plunge.
Yeah.
It's less maintenance. The ice barrel is really great. I like the position. I find it easier to tolerate, being squatting in this barrel versus sitting in the cold. It's also the cold in the cold plunge is colder. It's circulating water. It's set to a temperature. So you don't get this little insulated layer of where your body is warming up the water that's the centimeter around your skin. It's circulating, so you stay cold. I don't have to buy ice. Buying ice is expensive. I mean, first thing I did, I built a cold I built a cold tub in 2015 at home out of a chest freezer. It was like one of the first things I did trying to get out of pain. And it was one of the first things I had found that like, oh shit, I'm out of pain. Now it only worked while I was in it, which isn't a great way to live. I can't have meals there.
Not exactly going to live long.
Yeah. Look at that healthy looking fuck.
Little hypothermia.
Looks like he's dying.
And that's when the cold plunge trend was started in this moment.
Man. Dude, you look you look so much healthier now.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Trying like hell. That guy was struggling, dude. He's trying to figure it out. And starting the week looking mostly dead.
You look like you're fighting there. You know what I'm saying? Like fighting back from.
It was for a long time. I mean, I remember I went back and watched a bunch of old YouTube videos the other day and like setting up that cold plunge, that cold tub video. I'm in a straight leg brace and like went to buy that freezer and unloaded off a trailer and like helped a buddy drag it to my backyard and like set it up myself and like can't figure this out. And I've lifted up one side and I've got bricks under it and trying to look under it and like this fucking straight leg stuck swinging out of the way everywhere. And there's a big chunk looking back and being like, yo, thanks to that dude. It would have been real fucking easy to not giving a shit.
Perseverance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up every day because I don't know how we did. Because what's the other option?
You couldn't do it twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want you to have to go through that again.
And that's like, so I'm kind of at a point where I probably need to start looking at getting my right hip replaced. I'm fucking terrified of it because I've got to be willing to know that if I go down that route, that's an option. Like that we go back into that it's multiple surgeries and we're back into struggling with that. And I'm not interested yet. Not interested in the risk.
Yeah.
Push yourself a little further.
Yeah. Eventually it'll give up.
Does your training, knowing that, do you curtail your training around that?
100%. Yeah. I mean, what training was for a really long time, right, is I'm causing damage so that my body adapts and gets stronger, right? I can't create that type of adaptation on my hip, my legs anymore without really pissing off the knee and hip. And so squatting, can't do. It's all right. What can we do? I can do leg curls, like extensions. I can do various number of things. I can do occlusion training. There's
the bike ride on the hip though. Was that
bike ride on the hip's okay? It's moving in one direction. My hip moves okay, like this.
Sure.
Just doesn't go in or out and or internal or external rotate very much anymore. And yeah, so diving into different ways to train. And then kind of after that, it took a long time of like, man, how many people do you know that finished, like, get out of competitive lifting or whatever, and they still feel that they have to hold some line to this ghost of who they were? Of like, yeah, you know, I'm not lifting anymore, but I'm going to have a 405 bench. I'm going to have this. And like,
nearly every single one of them.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
As soon as I let
me for a long time.
as soon as I let that go, it was a big difference.
Yeah.
Me not continuing to be able to throw far doesn't mean I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't have to still hold some fucking billboard to tell you who I was 10 years ago. I love that the fact that now, especially, I haven't competed since 2016. I don't want to wander around talking about the Highland Games anymore. There's other shit I'm into.
Mm-hmm. Sorry about making you talk.
No, it's part of it, right? But like, what else can we do?
But I get the sentiment of it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if my goal is to see what I'm capable of in my life, that's what I want to fucking find out, is what this machine can fucking do. Max strength, I found out. I'll never beat it again. And I have no give a fuck about knowing what the lesser number is at 40 with a fake knee.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care. I want to see what else I can do. How can I still kick that guy's ass? That guy can't ride 243 miles. He doesn't have it between his ears to pull that off. So I'm better than him, right? Like, he's better than me in some ways, but those tools aren't that useful to me anymore. So let him go.
Yeah.
That, you know, the inspiration behind the Not Dead Yet brand, I want to get into that because you got such an incredible message, Matt, when it comes to making others feel like they're capable of so much more. And, you know, it goes really well, obviously, with your branding, but also just these retreats that you're doing. Mm-hmm. I just kind of want to get all these together and figure out a best way for you to explain to us, and especially our listeners because these people, I mean, the hard resets, the spark retreats, these are things people can do.
Yeah.
You know, these are people, you know, and guys, if you're listening locally, you know, Matt's out at St. Louis is where his home base is, and that's where these retreats are typically taking place.
Yeah, we're doing the men's retreat we host in St. Louis and keep it really tight. We do like 10 people. The Spark retreat will be our first attempt of doing a bigger one. So that one's going to be down in Austin. We've rented this really, really rad Airbnb. We'll have some VIP stay on site, and then we'll have drive-ins come in, and we'll go train it on it one day. We're going to go to Power Athlete and meet with John Wellborn. He's going to speak to everyone, and John's fucking incredible. He's a 11-year NFL vet and just an incredible coach and been an incredible friend. You know, someone that's 5 or 6 years ahead of me life-wise. And so doing that, and then the Spark retreat, it's going to be hosted by me, Bonnie, and our friend Jen Wiederstrom. She was a coach on The Biggest Loser for a number of years, and Jen's great. And so we're going to have speakers come in. We'll do the awareness work and work on journaling and really put together a very impactful weekend. You know, the Spark retreat is really built on one of the 4 principles that I think it takes to accomplish anything. And the first one is, I need inspiration. What do you want to do? What fucking sets your fire? What is the thing that ignites you to want to start? And that's our Spark retreat. That is, there will be a moment, if you've decided to change your life, there will be a fucking moment that you made the decision. Let's set you up to do that here. Let's give you that fire. Now, how you tend that flame when you leave is on you. But that's through the group and being surrounded by a community of people that want similar things. That's being surrounded by people who want to help you solve problems and be resources. I don't want to explain to people anymore why I want more out of my fucking life. Mm-hmm. You know what a waste of fucking energy that is, trying to sell someone on an idea that they don't have to go do? I don't give a shit what you think. I'd rather be around a bunch of people, not just gas you up, right? But like, people that are like, oh man, that's fucking crazy. Well, how are you going to do this? And be like, man, I don't know, blah, blah. And they're like, well, I know a guy that blah, 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 blah. So then you've got resources. Mm-hmm. And so that's what the Not Dead Yet Life community was about building this resource and community of people that want more out of their life. Simply that the years in front of me are far more attractive to me than giving any of a fuck about what's already happened. I can't do anything to change yesterday. Can't do anything about it. It also isn't who I am today. It doesn't get to dictate who I am tomorrow. And figuring out how to let that identity go to become who you'd like to be, that's what we really focus on the hard reset, is doing a lot more of the internal work and doing the awareness building. Because, you know, if you don't know what your purpose is, finding your purpose should be the purpose. So digging in, like what sets that fire? And if you don't know, start trying shit. Because even if you find stuff you don't like, you're eliminating stuff, which gets you closer. Fuck stuff up. Make mistakes. Quit having fear about that failure. Failure is a way better teacher than success. So a lot of that is just reframing perspectives that we were all built with and allowing yourself the freedom to start trying new things, to start stepping out of the box. Like having people in the group, man, I've heard like one of the guys in the group, right, like recently bought a house and is moving out of home, and he's in his early 30s and kind of figuring it out. And man, to hear him say like, I just never thought I would be the type of person who could deserve owning a house.
Man.
And I'm like, man, that's a really fucking interesting mindset and like block, right? And
he's got something over him, he put something over himself.
And so if I think about that, right, like and what that is, and if I go back again to my dad, my dad's a guy that was a boilermaker and worked in the refinery for 35 years until he didn't. His best friends have that job. His best friends are from the same town. So if my dad's got like an existential crisis or wants to change his life or make a move because of something else, who are his resources?
Who's supporting him? Yeah.
Man, my resources, I got to fucking talk to Aubrey Marcus in person for a long time, or Kelly Starrett, or Rob Bailey, or any of these other people that have become really important in my life. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to share so much of that with people that resources are what you need. Mm-hmm. Like you've got to be around this group of people that give a shit about what you give a shit about. And if the group you're in doesn't, wave by, tell them you love them, go find out some new shit, and come back and share. Instead of just being stuck in the echo chamber of, wouldn't that be great?
That's some yikes territory if you do.
Or, a lot of times those type of people, they want to tell you, well, have you thought about this? Or have you thought about this?
Sure.
And it's like, hey man, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for support. And you can gas me up or you can fucking.
They're just projecting their own.
There's going to be problems to solve.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
You're going to have to figure things out. It's going to be uncomfortable, but that's where any adaptation changes, right? Like taking the pieces that I learned from how to become a world champion and to make progress in my sport, I want to apply that to everything. If I know progress comes from adaptation of stress, then I need to do that emotionally. I need to do that mentally. I need to read new information that I have to go, fuck. I need to stress myself so that it grows wider. And I look at that as like, on a GTA map, like when you get in the game, right? Like there's a bunch of it covered by dark, and you have to develop certain skills to go into the dark to open up new areas. And you have to do that in your life. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're just going to stay in this area and go, fuck what's over there. That's scary. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go. And then, the more and more that I've looked at that versus, what my ideas and expectations of a thing were versus the reality of going to do it, I'm wrong most of the time. And so if I'm wrong most of the time, then let's quit having the expectation of how this is going to go, and let's just start doing and listen to the data to make decisions to go the next step.
You make it, I've been privileged to talk to you more than obviously just this podcast, Matt. And you're very much someone that I love being around. And I want you to know that in these moments when you say it like this, for a lot of our listeners, you make it sound like it's easy, just because of how well you're able to articulate these thoughts, right? And you spent tons and tons of time with yourself to get comfortable with yourself, to be able to have those kind of feelings. For those that are going on, let's say, a retreat, right? I think that a lot of people love the idea of what you talk about, but have a very difficult time being able to connect themselves to a spot where they feel like they could be comfortable enough with themselves to experience any form of breakthrough with that, right? In this hard reset versus a spark retreat, is there something deeper that you're getting into, or because of that more intimate?
Yes,
that's where it is. So it's like there's got to be so much discomfort for these people. What do you guys do in tools wise to help them get something out of it? Because like someone who's not believing in hypnotism can't be hypnotized.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah, totally. Right. That like you're deciding to be part of it is already there.
Right.
And so a big chunk of the hard reset or any of that, right? Like, or even joining a group. Like you've already taken a step forward and raised your hand to say, I want change.
I've thought about this. Yes.
I've invested, and now I'm serious. The same reason, how many of us have information, right? And you try to share with family or someone like that, and it just blows over, yet someone's willing to pay you for the same information. It's because they want change. I can't get you to do shit. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to, I don't care. I do not give a fuck about how you want to live your life. I want to be surrounded by people who give a fuck. If you don't, that's cool. But I'm done trying to convince you that you should give a fuck about your life the way I do mine. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to help instill in people. And so on that weekend, like, we dive into journaling and how to properly do that. We dive into breath work, and we do a lot of stuff of sharing and being able to dive into what was holding us back. Where can we let go of any ideas or misconceptions or expectations that we've had of ourselves to start pushing intention of where we want to go. If we can live based on intention, that keeps us making progress. My intention is to get better today. My intention is to read more books. My intention is to learn more information and share more and be more loving, doing all these things. The expectation is that I know where it's going to land me. I don't. If I look back 10 years on my life and where this has all gotten me, I can't tell that guy what the route here is. I can't warn him and be like, oh man, you're in for it. Mm-hmm. But the intention I can always follow and then be able to kind of listen as I go instead of that force it through, with just sheer willpower of bash it into place. I did that a long time. And it's not as useful long term as being able to listen a little bit and have more awareness of holding conversation with yourself. And a lot of people don't do that. So teaching the journaling part's a huge aspect of it. I mean, man, I've journaled probably a 90% plus accuracy on a daily basis since 2015. It helps.
Yeah.
I know it's overwhelming for a lot of people, but there's some really simple ones. One of the ones I learned that I really like is at the end of the day, you have 3 questions to answer. And it's, what brought me enthusiasm today? What stole my energy? And what did I learn? And that's it. And so over the course of time, as you're writing those and listening to what you're writing, and again, convincing people to write in a way that they're not judging their feelings is tough too, because we all have this inner judge. We'll get to that, but having that awareness to look at those things over time of like what brought me enthusiasm, what took my energy, and then what also did I learn, right? Like those are the opposite sides of the compass of where we want to go. I want to go toward the things bringing me enthusiasm and get the fuck away from the things that don't. And if I'm aware that, like, man, those 10 people I'm at work with fucking drain it out of me every day, and by the time I get home, all I can do is have a fucking drink and sit on the couch. We got to find a new job.
Yeah.
I understand that's uncomfortable. I understand that's a real challenge. But if you're not willing to do that, then you should figure out how to learn to like the other part and say, I don't really want better. And at least admit that to yourself. It's a hell of a lot better place to be. And being honest with yourself and know who the fuck you are. And that's a lot for a lot of people. We're so distracted that there isn't a ton of conversation going on one-on-one with me.
You don't have any space left for your other relationships in your life either.
People
because you
use
haven't
this,
dealt with
dude.
Why wouldn't you, dude? That thing's fucking great.
Yeah, they fucking just literally pour themselves into that. And
that thing's fucking great. I will never shit on that.
Yeah.
That is a miracle device that we get to fucking carry around.
It is.
It's so fucking cool, man, that like there isn't anything biologically cooler than these. Our hands are fucking awesome. They do a number of things. Like find me a fucking robot or anything that we've figured out that can throw a ping pong ball, a football, and then swing a golf club immediately after each other without any recalibration at a target. Yeah. Like we can do all that immediately from our head and feel and
it's the one thing robots
right?
haven't been able to solve it.
We do okay with legs, but we don't make fucking hands for shit.
Yeah.
And that thing's so good, I give one of my hands to it all day.
Yeah.
Like, it's good. It's that fucking good. But to treat that thing as anything other than fire is a mistake. That thing right there, it treats heroes and cowards the exact same. It is indifference to your plight. And if you can't fucking learn how to manage that fire, it will burn your fucking life to the ground. Or you figure out how to manage it and you can forge steel, you can fucking heat your house, and you can do everything with it. That thing is nothing but information.
Yep. It's crazy how, I guess as a society, it's easy to slip into. It's all just, to distract you. People pick up the phone to
disassociate.
Mm-hmm. Yep, is what I was looking for.
Yeah,
people used to do that with alcohol, and I feel like the younger generation probably does it now more with TikTok.
Like one of the things that got brought up during all this, self-awareness work and journey was one of the shamans I had spent some time around had brought up an idea because people were asking, well, what about alcohol? What about cannabis? What about whatever it is? And the question they followed up, and I think it applies to most things, and I love it, is, are you doing this to disconnect or connect? And if you're doing it to connect, cool. But if you're doing it to just turn off, at least be fucking aware that that's what you're doing and decide, is that acceptable? Because sometimes, yeah. Other times, not every night. I'm not trying to be in that routine, man, and just fade out. That's that thing. I'll lose hours there.
Yeah.
And it's tricky because my whole fucking life revolves around that tool. That's okay. I'll figure out how to manage it. Yeah. Other people have. Means it's possible.
It's possible.
As long as it's possible, then it can be done.
Yeah.
Now, my route there isn't going to be same as anyone else's, and nor will yours. But that's the acceptance part, not expecting like, well, they did it in this amount of time. Fuck does that mean? I mean, shit. Just take it as proof of concept that it could work. People do impossible shit all the time.
Yeah, I really like that about the, it's either using you or you're using it, as far as like alcohol goes. Because, some of the best nights in my life have involved alcohol. Some of the worst nights in my life have involved alcohol.
It's an interesting drug.
It's a fucking, just like you were saying, it can help you connect with people in a much deeper way, or it can make you be a total asshole.
Sure can.
Again, it's what are you using the tool for?
Yeah, I find, I heard one of my mentors say, just regarding drugs was, alcohol and cocaine mostly are anti-psychedelic.
Yeah.
So like they're not going to make me question any of me. They just tend to pour more gas on the ego.
Yeah.
And that guy could be a quieter.
Yeah.
He doesn't need any fucking help.
He doesn't need help. Right. Yeah. I get it.
That's a really good point, man. On these, how this parlays into like where your focuses have been now. You've done, for our listeners, we've got clothing brand. We've done coffee brand. We've done, you've got a number of partnerships, Yeti, On It, the Cold Plunge. What are you most stoked on right now? Where are you putting your focus on in the next 2 weeks?
I really love the mentorship group.
And let's, for our listeners, what's the name of that group?
Not Dead Yet Life.
Got it.
So the website is ndylife.com. That's a mentorship group. That's a once a week call with myself, topic based on Zoom with everyone. And then we've got a private Discord server that's a really open access communication for everyone. I'm involved in it a lot. I want to help as much as I can. So getting to do that, like I just feel like it's created a bigger impact than anything I've got to do prior. It's way more fulfilling than a lot of the other stuff I've got to do, is to share and give back, is help see people form that stoke, see people realize that their dreams are worth the effort, that their life is worth the effort. How many people fucking get that feeling, right? That like, if I told you had 6 weeks left to live, how much does that change tomorrow?
Oh, shitload.
Well, you're going to die in so many weeks. I feel that way every day. Right? Like I know the end's coming.
1,100, how many weeks?
1,144. I know what that looks like. And so like pretending that ain't coming, I don't. Like I'm on the gas. I want to try new things. And so creating that impact in people, and seeing them choose to live that way, right? Like I think Not Dead Yet Life and the brand and everything are as much an option for me to get to walk the walk of what I'm about and show it and lead from that, right? Like if I really want a better world, a better society, a better group of people, I believe that'd be the change. So I've got to be it. If I don't embody that fully, then why would anyone be interested?
And you've done this, and my question is, when you've gotten to the end of your day and you've done this journaling and you've asked these questions, what brought me enthusiasm today, right? What sucked energy out of me today? And what was the last one, sorry?
What did I learn?
What did I learn? Is that kind of the birth of a lot of these projects that you've done because you thought to myself, what brought me enthusiasm today?
Yeah, it is travel, right? Travel, experience, exposure. In my time on Earth, right, like whatever this 60, 70, 80 years equals, I don't get to really explore much of the universe, much less human history on Earth. I get only this short window when I showed up, right? A blip. I damn sure want to see as much of this incredible place as I'm allowed. because Earth is fucking rad. It's so fucking cool. The landscape in America is rad, like getting to road trip and travel. I mean, we've done at least a month every year traveling around the country. Various forms. I've done vans in my truck, and we've done RVs and everything else. And I mean, even to more of the point of realizing like what really brings me fulfillment is doing a lot of these travels and new experiences and getting to try new things. They always shape me. I always come back different. And so, yeah, I mean, I fucking love it. I love it. I love getting to see those new places and try to expose people to want to do more.
And people that want to do more, you guys have an avenue as well, as far as Bonnie, your fiance, which, by the way, again, congrats.
Thank you.
Super awesome for you guys. You guys do these Trova trips where it's like completely curated trips where, people that want to, live the most out of their lives, you have this itinerary already pre-built in, you just pay the $1 and you're there and you get to do it all. Which ones you got coming up?
We've got a couple spots left open at the end of March for Africa, which you guys are going.
Yep. South Africa.
South Africa, kind of safari type shit. Go see animals, do that whole thing.
Swimming with sharks.
Yeah. Swimming with sharks, doing that. It's going to be pretty wild. Very, very different experience. I went to Africa for the first time year before last with a couple friends, and we did 4 days of whitewater rafting on the Zambezi and some other stuff. And,
of course,
it's
the
incredible.
Zambezi.
Yeah, as they say. And it's incredible. And so getting a chance to go back and experience that with other people, Africa is wild.
You got Peru coming up, right?
We go to Peru in August, so we'll do Machu Picchu, a bunch of travel around there, and get to see a ton of that. And then in December, we go to Egypt. That one's filled up really fast.
Yeah.
The Egypt trip's wild. We'll do 9 days. We do an overnight Nile tour. We get to see all the pyramids, the Sphinx, and all of the Egypt stuff you want to see.
Sure.
And then we also have like an overnight train ride somewhere. And man, I'm in. Like, I just love seeing different cultures and how they live. And a lot of that time it reframes a bunch of like, so you don't have to do things that way? Stuff that seems like a right or wrong or like a hard rule. Mm-hmm. And you realize like, only really physics are kind of the rules.
Yeah, you're challenging all
everything
these
else
belief
is a bunch
systems.
of shit we've agreed on.
Yeah.
And even that's not great if we look at a history. Like, it changes a ton. And so getting to see a bunch of those things and how different people live and what they love and all of that, I think is great to come back, right? Like, it isn't like it's the most comfortable societies or the most technologically advanced or any of that, like, say, America is compared to a lot of the world. We're not the fucking happiest.
Certainly
I want to be
not.
around. No,
Certainly
I want to be
not.
around happy people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't seem that the buy more mentality of capitalism that's been established in a lot of us has been the answer.
So we got...
I got a question for you. So let's say you found out you were dying next week. You got a week to go wherever you can, wherever you want. You're probably the most well-traveled dude that's my age that I've ever talked to. You got a week to go wherever you want, and you can go with whoever you want. Where are you going? Who are you taking?
I would love to take like my core group of friends, mentors, to Iceland.
Yeah. Iceland looks dope.
I love it. And look, if I've got a week to live, I will happily die there showing them why it matters to me.
Yeah. What makes Iceland so cool to you?
The landscape of it, for one. Coming from Louisiana, like, it's the first place I remember traveling to that, like, as soon as you land and you're on approach, you're like, this ain't home. It does not look the same. You're in a different world.
Yeah.
People there have been nothing but lovely. I dig their society. I dig how forward and simple it is, which is a typical Scandinavian thing. And I don't know if that's just because the weather sucks a lot of the time, so people are shorter, or that English isn't their first language, so they don't fuss around a bunch talking to you, but I like it.
Yeah.
They also seem a lot less offended. I like that because they're a society of only 300,000 people, they're really nice to each other. There's not any real anonymity. Like, they know who you are. Mm-hmm. You're not hiding there. You're on a fucking island. And so people are polite. Crime rate's low. There's a lot of that.
It's a big, small town.
Yep.
Vibe.
especially because
Midwest mannered feeling.
basically the same.
Yeah. In that sense, you know what I mean? Like they're, people are nice to each other because we all know each other
Yeah, we still get a lot of that, right? We still
Yeah.
get a lot of that in small towns.
for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like there's obviously some pros and cons to each of this. Everybody's like hates on the fact that if you get pulled over for running a stop sign, everybody knows in town, that type of shit. But it's like people who genuinely like appreciate each other. It seems like
They do, and man, Iceland is such a incredible landscape.
dude. I mean, you saw magma. Hot
Yeah,
magma.
Fucking magma.
dude, that's one of the gnarliest things I've ever seen.
I mean, that's
seeing the
fucking
volcano
incredible. Yeah.
actually erupt in person is see Earth make more Earth. Is really fucking rad.
Unreal. And is that common for where you were at, or is
No.
that like you just got to go?
This
during
just happened to
magical
be
time?
erupting while we were there. Now I think it's been kind of on and off for the last like year and a half, but I mean that's probably like an hour outside of Reykjavik, give or take.
Yeah.
Unreal.
That's cool, man.
What was the story behind the paint on your face and all that from that photo? Luke, go back to that. Upper right. Yeah, that's this.
So this was Aubrey and them have a group called Fit for Service. And they hosted, I guess, one of their trimesters was based on the divine masculine. And so part of that was competing and training and doing a thing. And so they hosted something called the, what was it? I know it's not the Fit for Service games, but it was something along that line. So they built a bunch
Was that
of
when everybody was
competitions.
wrestling?
Yeah.
I saw you post about.
Yeah. And so I had chatted with Ob about going, and he asked if I wanted to come out and MC the whole thing. And so that's what I got dressed to do, is go out and MC, since I can't participate in the athletic things anymore. How can I take that responsibility to make this a better experience for all these other people, and give them as much energy as I can. At the end of that day, man, I just wanted to be empty, and was.
Yeah. Looks like a blast.
Those days, man, like those days are the ones that I really love, right? Like those days that you just fucking know the battery's done.
Right.
You sleep well.
Poured it all into it.
Yep. There's no questions on those days. So more days I can feel like that, the better.
Yeah.
We got something we ask everybody on here that just really won't resonate well because you're not from Kansas City. But
It's also like the most fucking like surface level question you could ask after everything we've been talking about.
yeah. Well, it's
What are normal conversations
Then,
out
we'll,
here
then,
go
we'll,
like?
then we're gonna crush it with some depth here. All right. So we talked about the last place you go, week, right? You've always been, at one point you were 318 pounds. We know this. So you gotta love food.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's never been one of the issues, is gaining weight.
yeah. So
People
we're,
who talk about that shit of like, oh, I work so hard
So
to gain
bad.
weight. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck,
I've hated that guy since I was like 11 years
no
old.
idea what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I was like, people
I
that
could
are,
be 318 in a solid fucking 2 weeks.
give me,
if I
yeah,
needed to be.
yeah, give me a month.
I'm the same way.
That's why me and JP get along so well.
It's just a constant battle of not letting that piece of shit in me take over the kitchen.
Right. So you got a week left, right? Now we're going to Iceland with your big core group of friends. What are you eating? Last meal.
Last meal.
And I'm saying, like, if you want to call out, a specific place that does it, right? So it's like, you could say, some people are like, I want a steak. I'm like, but a steak from where?
I don't give a fuck about
Cooked
steak.
what?
I didn't have steaks. I would want, since it's a fantasy, fuck it.
Yeah. Combo anything you want.
My dad used to cook like a pot roasted like speckle belly goose.
Oh, wow.
And do
Speaking instant language over here.
Yeah, and so like doing that with dirty rice. And so like the dirty rice that we would do with that goose is also like hearts and gizzards and livers and shit like that. Nice.
Some real Louisiana
I was
shit.
about to say this is
Some
most
real,
Louisiana thing.
Some real Louisiana shit.
That meal? Yeah, I'd probably do that.
Speckled goose with some dirty rice.
Yeah, speckle
Made
belly
the right
goose,
way.
Yeah.
Did you grow up hunting?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
was
grew
about
up.
to say,
I grew up
Louisiana's-
doing a bunch of like mostly duck.
Yeah.
We never really did deer, but we did a lot of duck and alligator.
What's Louisiana duck hunting like? Because we go here and it's obviously like 10 degrees and fucking. What's it? Does it
Less
get there?
cold.
Yeah.
But
we get them at the end of the migration down there.
yeah, I mean the places that we always had leases and different stuff. So it was typically a boat ride out to a blind, and then in the blind, sit in the blind, wait for ducks to show up, shoot.
Lots of teal.
A lot of teal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had teal season early and stuff. You grew up doing a lot of that. I really am glad that I have that history.
Yeah.
Not that into it anymore.
Appreciate it.
Fucking too much of a hassle, to be honest. Alligatoring was fun. Like growing up, I'm super stoked now that I have that weird history from being in Louisiana of like trapping alligators every season.
Yeah.
Because no one has that experience.
Dude, if you grow, so here real quick, if you are
good,
from Louisiana, you actually don't have to have a tag, right? Is that true with alligators?
That is not what I'm aware of.
Okay.
I don't believe that's true.
My cousin that lives in Alabama, he got drafted to get a tag for one alligator, and he said Louisiana is different. He's like, Louisiana, I think you can just buy him like a deer tag or something like that.
That wasn't my experience. So the land that we duck hunted on was owned by this giant landowner, like J.G. Gray Estates, I think, and I don't remember how many acres it is, but 1,300, some gigantic plot of land. And so we were hired by them to trap alligators on it. So they were giving a certain amount of tags, like per acre.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. And so we would trap for them, sell the alligators to Skinner, and then part of whatever that money we got back, we would pay for the duck lease and boats and whatever bullshit we needed for the other stuff. But I mean, we would do 170 tags.
Wow.
In like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Or under 3 weeks, like 10 to 12 days.
Jeez.
How does one kill an alligator?
How does one kill an alligator? With bullets.
Okay. What kind of gun?
22.
Oh, shit,
20,
really?
Depends.
Yeah.
22 would do the job. They're not terribly bright.
Yeah, Brian said you just pull them up along the boat and shoot them in the back of the
Yeah, that's really it. Yeah, so I mean, you basically
Not glamorous.
No.
set a bamboo pole coming out of the bank or something to kind of dangle a line off of, and then that line is tied to a post or something that isn't moving, a tree, whatever, a dock. Then we would dangle like a chicken quarter, probably 6 or so inches off the water. They eat it. You roll up, the line's down, pull the line, their head floats to the surface, shoot them, throw them in the boat.
Throw them in the boat sounds like a challenge as well.
Yeah.
Not when you're 310, dude.
Well, the
Like,
biggest one we
310
ever
from Louisiana, no problem.
The biggest one we ever took was like an 11'3".
Holy shit. So you get them in, like you ever have one like get a second fucking win?
They do that on a pretty regular basis. Yeah, they come back to life.
Yeah, and you're like, oh
shit, shoot him again.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just shoot it one more time.
Yeah, they're pretty stunned by that point.
That's wild, dude. That sounds terrifying.
Dude, Louisiana is one of my
sheltered kid.
One of my favorite places, especially South Louisiana. I love going fishing in Venice, Louisiana.
Venice is fucking into the earth.
Yeah, it literally is. You feel like you're out on the tip of the earth.
Yeah, we did quite a bit down there. I remember going down there a handful of times. I was more on the western side, and then the eastern side of Louisiana, I was there for more college. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't hunt a ton after college or fish really. Yeah.
We got one more for you. I was wanting to ask, and it just came back to me, and it's an obvious one, but it's just, you've been to obviously all these places. I know you talked about Iceland, obviously, like the impact that it had on you. What is that pursuit that's left as far as, I know you're down for whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I know like there's not a place on the earth you'd be like, I'm above seeing that spot. But what spot that you haven't checked off yet that you're like, that's a total bucket list?
So there's really not, I don't know that at this point, like I need to get to there, right? Like I'd like to see the pyramids.
Yeah.
Killer, which should be knocked out by the end of the year. But now, man, there's just some bigger adventures like I'm interested in. I mean,
the journey itself, not the destination.
Both. Right? Like just the overall experience, right? Like one of those bucket list things for me I'd love to drive the Pan American Highway. I would love to drive from Prudhoe Bay, Alaska down to Ushuaia, Argentina. To what you would accomplish in that 6 or 7 months. Like, fucking life ain't phasing you afterwards. Mm-hmm. You're capable. You know what I mean? Like what a fucking baptism by fire of capability and independence and self-responsibility that would teach you. And that adventure to me is just a wild one. And then there's a couple routes like that through Europe too. Just these big, long road trips. Seeing a ton of stuff, being as remote from people as possible. If I'm putting down like a single place I'd like to go to Easter Island, which is real fucking way off map. Mm-hmm. Like in a gnarly sense. Like you have to get to Chile, and then it's like another like 6 or 7 hour flight into the Pacific to get to that island. And there's another island somewhere.
Easter Island's off of Chile?
Yeah.
Like so. We know we've all heard that phrase. We've heard that word.
It's fairly certain that can be checked by someone smarter than me.
But it's another 6 or 7 hours from.
Yeah, flight from South America. It's just an island in the middle of the ocean by itself.
With some massive, who knows how they got there,
Just
statues.
really interesting shit. Really interesting shit. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. Talk about remote.
And so like, that's about as remote as you can get where people live. There seems to be another island that you can get to from there.
Like a bucket list spot.
That's got like 60 or 70 people that live on the island. And so they were a bunch of people that when Captain Cook was exploring, they landed there and they had a mutiny, which is the whole movie Mutiny on the Bounty, or story. And a bunch of his crew just didn't leave this island, fell in love with the natives and have since been there. Descendants of.
And this is a situation where it's like, this is an island where you were allowed to fly there.
Oh,
Like
not so much fly. They don't
flight?
have an airport. So you would have to take a boat to there from, I think it's like a 2 or 3 day ride from Easter Island on a boat. So like you're a long fucking way from help. I like moments that make Earth really big again. Because it's really easy to travel and get used to like, oh, I've got friends in Kansas City.
Yeah,
I've got friends in Iceland. Like, world's really small to me. I've got friends all over, and I see them on a regular basis. I fly 40 times a year, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot of zooming.
Bruh.
I was hoping we could go to Madagascar when we were in South Africa. That would have been cool.
That's a long way away, too. Africa's huge.
Right.
Yeah, going to Africa was wildly eye-opening, man. Just the wildlife in general. I just didn't expect when we landed. I mean, from the drive from the airport in Zimbabwe to Victoria Falls, where we stayed, on the drive we saw a countless number of baboons, like 2 elephants, a giraffe.
I feel like I'm going to like see a Pokemon there.
It's wild.
See a Pokemon.
Yeah, it's wild. Baboons? No fucking way.
Dude.
There's no way we would have coexisted with that animal.
Right.
Like, no fucking way. Those things are like the size of German Shepherds.
Oh, are they really?
Fuck those things.
Yeah.
They're so scary looking.
Yeah.
And
like, fucking fast.
You know, staying at that place, like, I mean, was straight up like, don't go outside the tent at night unless you call for someone to come walk you to the other place with a gun. I mean, we could hear lions outside of our, I mean, it's a tent, but it isn't a tent. Like, it's got doors on it. And they're like, don't leave any of your shit unlocked because the monkeys will go in. Like, if you leave your place unlocked and come back in an hour, monkeys are in your place.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude, monkeys.
I just think of the ones in
monkeys are
Jumanji.
sketchy, dude. That monkeys will rip your face off. For
Yeah,
real.
man.
Like,
You know how incapable we are to
Yeah.
defend ourselves against any other animal on the planet? This is the only thing we've got to our advantages in here.
we just need a gun.
That's why we made guns.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're awful.
Yeah.
We're just a bag of potatoes for them to destroy. Hippos outrun us on land. They're 3,500 pounds.
That's like the scariest animal on earth.
So scary.
And they make you out to like your entire life. You don't even figure out that a hippo would be scary until you're at least 18 years old.
Yeah, I mean, this was just right outside of our place.
That's an elephant, right?
Yeah. I was like 10 feet outside the back door, man. And then Kelly's like, we should go outside. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was so stressed.
Was this Kingsbury, your buddy? From
No,
Vermont?
that's Kelly Starrett.
Okay.
He runs a company called the Ready State. Was a supple leopard.
Supple leopard, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
First time I was like, oh shit, I should stretch. What is this?
It's a very famous book.
Dude, I love it. I love getting to travel. Like, you know, I'm a fucking idiot from Louisiana who threw rocks in a field. I'm not sure how this has finagled me into getting to see the world, much less people want to travel with me. And so back to what you said about the Trova trips, right? Like that thing, I know what a barrier and fear it is to want to take those trips of like, oh, there's so many unknowns. I want to eliminate as many of those for people to share that experience as possible. And the Trova trip does it.
That's what it was for me. 100%. I've always like, you're somebody who's like, oh, I really want to travel. I really want to travel. And I've been that person. I'm like, I spent my entire 20s putting myself in the position to hopefully have some freedom to be able to travel in the 30s. Right. And so at 34, I'm like, all right, Hannah and I want to continue her family, have more kids, et cetera. It's like, well, it's not going to get any easier.
Nope.
Right. So time to do it. And I'm like, all right, who's going to take all the guesswork out of it? Who's going to curate the trip? Because I don't know shit about shit. It's not like you're Googling.
I ain't trying to plan a trip.
I'm not trying to read
South
reviews.
Africa on my own, man.
Am I going to?
I love having a Sherpa set shit up for me. This is great.
Yeah. And how am I going to read these reviews on? Am I going to trust a review from a South African whatever? I don't know. I would just like, dude, thank you for just putting it together and letting me just sign up and be like, all right, now I'm going to experience this crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
it's not
right?
going to be
Like,
completely comfortable, and I know that too. It's not like obviously a luxury trip, and that's the point.
Yep.
You know,
yeah, some are more than others.
it's going to be more comfortable
was
than
great.
it could be.
Alaska was not a comfortable trip. We were intense, 5 or 6 of the nights that we were there, and hiked a bunch, and we're fucking in it, dude.
Yeah. Chile, dude. When you went there, I've seen like Patagonia is one of the few places that in my 20s where when someone would post being in Patagonia, that I'd be like, where are they?
Yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
Same.
I gotta go. And so, as far as like landscape outside of Iceland, was that one of your favorites there?
It is, but it's pretty similar.
Okay.
I don't know if like
Which is so crazy.
the
to think.
distance from the equator is relatively similar,
Right.
on the bottom half of the Earth versus the top, but not a ton of trees on that side of the Andes, on the Argentina side, and so Iceland doesn't really have trees. So that's kind of familiar. The mountains in the Andes are bigger than Iceland. Iceland doesn't really have a ton of big mountains.
You get the aurora borealis up there.
In Iceland, yeah.
When you were there, you got to see it?
I've seen the northern lights a handful of times, different places. I think mostly in Iceland.
I've only gotten to see like a haze, right? Like nothing.
Oh
magical.
man, they move. They're so much more dynamic than I thought. Like I really thought most of the videos or anything I'd ever seen were time lapse.
Yeah.
Doctored. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
They're pretty movable. Like you can watch it come and go and move and dance and do all that. And so
That's pretty cool.
I've seen them from my buddy's backyard in Iceland, in Reykjavik. They're bright enough some nights. And then I've also, on the trips in Iceland, I mean, we were there for 3 weeks and rented a camper van and rode around. And so, I mean, we've got to see them in a bunch of other places around
Super
the
remote.
island.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even talk about that. Your buddy that you probably go see in Iceland, isn't it freaking Thor?
Yeah, he's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one
The
of
strongest
one of the
dude. Yeah, the strongest, biggest dude of all time. Like,
just to dive into him, as an inspiration and as like a friend. And if I'm going to mention him, then I also want to mention Steffi Cohen as great friends. And like, I got lucky enough 2 years ago. I went to Dubai to watch him fight. We went on that trip and got to see him. I went from Africa to Dubai, and then Bonnie flew over and met me in Dubai. And talking with Haffy at the hotel, and just wanted to just tell both of them just how wildly impressed I am. That like, most adults don't do new things.
yeah.
Most adults won't check their ego and go suck at a thing again because of like, oh man, I'm gonna suck at this.
And now everybody's going to be watching because they've got a name.
Of course,
Yeah.
right. That like, oh, if you come in and be anything less than best in the world, this is a failure.
Right.
That's an expectation from other people, not you. Are you going in to see what I learned from this and what it tests from me and what I gained from it? Or are you doing it to only be the best in the world, or it's not worth it? Because then don't do anything. Like chances are I'm not going to find a second thing to be best in the world at. Most people don't find one. I won't find a second. And so at that point, then that removes a lot of expectations and like worry, because then I can just be as good at it as I want. I already did one. That's great. And so talking to Hapthor, man, like I was like, dude, it would have been really fucking easy to have just been the mountain and travel around and done Comic-Con circuits and whatever else. And
Appearances everywhere.
making a good living, being a monster. Would have been really easy to just travel around being world's strongest man. But you took on boxing. And so now you're Hapthor. You do whatever fuck you want. Hapthor does rad shit. And that's the same for Steffi. Like I'm far more impressed with the people that continue to change and reinvent and grow.
Evolve. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, fuck all that bitterness of the guys sitting there trying to still talk about high school football. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Or college football. Like,
Yeah.
that was fucking 10 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
It's 20 years ago. Like, what are we doing? I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm great. I'm stoked we did it. It helped get me here. But
What's next?
to still pretend it's important.
the fulfillment from it's over.
Done. Like I don't keep trophies.
If it's any more, then it's just obviously like an attachment to your ego.
None of that's meant much to me.
Right.
The whole trophy side of it. It was all experience and about what can I learn from me. And what I learned during all the Highland Games stuff was like, I can show up and grind and consistently work really hard and focus on a single thing that no one else gives a shit about. And I can do it all by myself. Like Highland Games, there's no training groups. There's not a gym to go to. I don't have training partners. I left it in my garage by myself, and I threw in a field by myself every day for a decade. I also really like that. I thought I didn't. Whenever it ended and I was trying to go back to the gym, I realized how much I fucking hate being around a regular group of people.
Yeah.
Or people in general. That's why I built a garage gym, right? Like, it was the inconvenience of having to go somewhere because I'm so fucking naturally lazy that inconvenience is a barrier that I'm not always willing to cross. And so having it in the garage where I don't have to go check in or get in the car or go anywhere eliminated a big reason of, like,
talk to that front desk person and all the other things.
Why aren't we training?
Yeah.
It's all in there.
Remove the friction.
And that's, once we built the new spot that we've got in St. Louis, like, I've got to have a place. I've got to have a place for me to work on me.
Which your spot looks sweet. What's it called? Dope?
Dope.
Yeah.
Division of Performance Enhancement.
Yeah, it's sweet, dude.
Yeah,
what came first, Division of Performance Enhancement or dope? Did you have to find the words after the fact, or did you say, oh, it's called Division of Performance Enhancement?
I don't remember who I was talking to, but somebody had, I was looking at acronyms or whatever it was, and I'd looked at DOJ, for Department of Justice or whatever it is, or DOD or any of that. And so as I'm playing with it, I'm like, Department of, and I'm like, oh. Performance enhancement. I also really like how much the performance enhancement part kind of leads to whatever.
Yeah.
PEDs or fucking anything else. And personally, I don't give a shit. And so, I mean, if it's there to help, I'm down to try. I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to take over the responsibility of experimenting with me to see what clicks and doesn't click and have a real experience from it instead of some made up bullshit opinion.
And something I want to make sure I put on this episode is that I think is really endearing about not only you but also Bonnie is that you guys do these events all the time at your gym that is not a for-profit gym. It's not something you can get a membership to. It's your own gym, and you guys open your doors to this gym often and do a lot of fun events just to connect with people, just to bring community around. It doesn't ever cost any money.
No, so we started doing that. We threw a Halloween party 2 years ago, and that was really the first time we'd ever opened the doors to the general public. And there's a big fear, man, of expectation on our end of like fucking weirdos showing up, right? Like of her 200,000+ followers and I've got 100K or whatever. Like, this might get fucking weird. Weirdos don't show up in person. They sure as shit don't travel to other countries to spend a week with you, we've learned.
Yeah.
Like regular folks do.
Yeah.
The weirdos don't come out in real life.
Nah, dude, they want you to send them underwear through the mail.
Perfect. Just tell me where. And so we started opening the gym 10 to 2 on Sundays. And then the problem becomes like we travel so much. And so now we've got a kind of a solid crew of people around St. Louis that want to be part of it. And so the gym's going to be open 10 to 2 on Sundays, like whether or not we're there. And it's really a community center, right? Like it's just a place that come and get ready for your week. Like come in if you want to stretch, you want to be around other people who give a shit, who want to talk about different stuff. That it's just a different environment of people.
Yeah.
I keep my gym pretty smoke friendly if people want to come in and smoke and lift and hang out, have conversation. I don't care if they come in to lift or not. If they just want to come in and sauna and try the cold or try some breath work, like the only rules are like if you've got something, share. If you've got information that can help people, share. You know how to use maces and people don't know how, go help.
That's
Very
cool,
cool, dude.
Just
awesome,
creating that community, man. Like that's it, right? Like that's part of it, to take action and be what I want to be involved in.
For the people that are going to be listening to this, where can they find you?
They can find me. Instagram is Matthew P. Vincent. My website is notdeadyet.com. Not Dead Yet Life. NDY Life is the mentorship group, and the podcast is Not Dead Yet Podcast.
Awesome, man.
All the socials.
We couldn't be more thankful for you. We very much appreciate you coming all this way, and we hope to talk to you again soon, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Yeah, dude. I love getting to do this, right? Like I really like getting to podcast. I think it's really, really valuable. And it is, for me, it's a really selfish thing too. Not just because it helps business or any of that, but in the last couple of years, especially, like we've just converted to such a text-based society. And that text-based society, I think that's a big chunk of why we have such poor job communicating with each other or seeing empathy or understanding someone else's point of view or even listening, that it's not an attack when someone says a thing, right? That like you getting triggered and taking something personal from a stranger who doesn't fucking know you.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking about your problem, right?
Yeah. And why should they?
Right. But we learned, early, if you look at anything communication-wise, like 99% of communication is done non-verbally. It's done through your eye contact. It's done through facial expressions, tone, cadence, all these other type of things. And if we switch to text, we eliminate it. And so then I'm stuck reading anything that you send me in the mood I'm in.
Whatever context you feel like.
And that's what people, if you're constantly on the defense, all those things come through that way. And it keeps you on your heels. That doesn't happen in person. It doesn't happen in groups of people, especially not in groups of people you want to be around. So, I mean, the biggest recommendation, man, I can tell people is go fucking find your people. Go find your tribe. I'm sorry that you weren't born around them. I'm sorry that your family isn't it. I'm sorry that the people you grew up around aren't it. Go find them. Like, there are people out there that are into the shit you're into. Go find them and embed yourself and be valuable to that community. Like, be valuable, man. Be helpful. Show up and fucking say, how can I help? 4 most important words people fuck up. That's it. How can I help? Whatever the thing is.
Thank you guys for watching and listening. If you guys liked what you heard today, please give us a like, share, and subscribe. We do not do any paid advertising as of right now, so the way the podcast grows is by you sharing it with friends and family members. We appreciate you guys listening. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. We'll see you guys again next week.